Previously, in the recap, Leonis was once known as the great hero of the Holy Sword, but his kindness towards commoners made other heroes wary of him. And other 6 heroes hatched a plan and killed Leonis in cold blood, but the goddess of rebellion granted him a second chance, and Leonis then became a demon lord, and now after 1,000 years. Leo was reborn again in a child's body, but he made Celia, his undead minion, and she had become a vampire queen. But she still lacked combat experience, so Leo was teaching her in combat lessons. Then after completing their training, Celia took Leo to a restaurant where orphan kids lives, but while Leo was taking it easy, one of Leonis's arch-enemies, the great sage Arakiel, had also awakened, and he was making his way through the assault garden, spreading its roots to destroy the island just to find and kill Leonis. So, as the story progresses, back in the past, when monsters were ravaging the city, the 3 heroes came to its rescue. Their Tiras and great sage Arakiel knew that they couldn't wait for other heroes and had to stop the monsters right away, so Arakiel casts a huge spell to burn everything up in the city, along with its citizens into dust, to stop the monsters and then revive the dead peoples, but Leonis he couldn't bear the thought of seeing people die and bring them back to life, like they were some kind of a tools, so he defeated the monsters himself with his brute force. Leonis was becoming people's favorite, which made the old man and Tiras wary of him. And that's how Leo got into the bad side of the heroes and got betrayed by them, but in the present, Arakiel was now on the move, so the HQ was at a loss as to what type of signals they were getting. They were guessing that it must be a void and must be eliminated, but then a student from the 18th platoon tried to share her investigation with them, so obviously they underestimated a student. But the DeGrasse tells them the girl is from the Fillet family, a well-known background, so they all agreed to hear her out. Then Elfine comes into line and tells them that she detected micro-vibration in Block 62, and after clearing up the sound, she decided that it wasn't a magical device, and along with that, there were fluctuations in spatial mass and disruption in magical fields, and the same thing she detected in Block 59 as well, which proves the void activities. Hearing this, all the higher-ups fumes at her, but an employee of theirs tells them her report is on point. They also detected the same thing, but they weren't able to get that info quickly because it happened underground, and right then they started to get another movement signals again. But Baldur was confused because the void wasn't using magic, so Elfine tells them that void must have done that intentionally to sneak into the city. Then an urgent report came in that tree roots are growing beneath, in the underground chambers, and while this is happening, Regina couldn't get in touch with Celia. So Elfine decided to send out one of her drones to her location. Meanwhile, Celia and Leo were enjoying a meal with the kids, but it was annoying to endure the kids, but aside from them, soldiers were trying to fight the roots, but the live feed was cut off instantly, because the underground is the only place they have lacking security and Arakiel knew that. But then the video feed comes back online, all because Arakiel flew off from there, but their Elfine tells them again that Arakiel is heading towards the power plant based on the pattern. Elfine believes it's a void lord, which can cause a stampede, so now their main priority is to save their power plant, but against the roots of Arakiel all the artillery won't be much of a use. So Baldur then announced that they are being attacked by a void lord, so Castoros issues the order to shift the island into fortress mode, and evacuate civilians, and prepare their army. But underneath Arakiel managed to get inside the power plant, and the fluctuations began to happen all over the island. Leo and Celia saw the threat level, and the voids had found a way into the city. Seeing that, Celia knew it was a stampede, so the entire HQ began to defend itself and started to kill the voids. But the military backup will take 3 days to arrive, so they'll have to defend the city. The city defense system was raining artillery on the voids and Elfine. Sakuya and Regina also got in to defend the city, but other than that, Celia took the kids back inside the restaurant because it was too late to get to the shelter. But their Sherry comes out to offer up her help, but her entry was a little too perfect, so she tells Leo that she would never tail her master while he's with his new servant, and actually, that's what she did. But anyways, Leo tells Sherry to protect those human kids, but Sherry wanted to protect Leo instead. But Leo saw the voids and told Celia to stay inside because the voids had surrounded them, so Celia drops her plan to take kids to the shelters and comes out to kill the voids. There Leo asks Celia if she's scared, and Celia tells her that although she can't run away. Leo saw her promising future as she started to kill those voids. Then Leo also lends her a helping hand, but then more and more were showing up from the gap, especially the big guy, and the situation was getting tight even on the girl's side. But they were handling it on their own until a Hydra-class void showed up, and the void attacks became even more intense, so Leo told Celia to buy him some time, and as she did, Leo casted level 10 spell on the Dragon-class void and the other Golem class, but even that rain wasn't enough to deal with that Dragon class, so Leo then used his gravity spell to squash that void. They finally beat up that thing, but the ground began to split up and then Arakiel took Celia as his hostage. Then he also comes out of his hiding and Leo knew right away that it's the old man Arakiel, the great sage, and his arch-enemy. So, what happens next now that Celia has been kidnapped by Arakiel? Find out in the next episode, but in the meantime, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get the latest updates, and until then, stay safe.